Hey there, I'm Dale. Welcome to the JeepSolid garage. We're going to get back to work on our Cj5. We're working on the engine rebuild. We're going to get a lot done today. We're going to do the oil pan next. I started on the frame restoration, and that went fairly smooth up until the point of where it didn't. I went ahead and rolled it out of the shop, so as I'm grinding and wire wheeling off a lot of the rust and dirt, I wasn't getting it in the shop, and I had a special guest stop by that gave me some excellent advice. So that's my grandson, super cute. He loves to come and point at things and talk about different stuff when I'm working on this, so a lot of fun having him around. The frame restoration is going fairly well. I got this whole section along here done. That turned out super nice. And as you can see, here's the before, so it used to look kind of like that. So I'm really happy with the progress. It went fairly well until it didn't. So I got that section done by the engine here, and that's just how I want to do it. I'm just going to bite off pieces of it at a time. That'll work well for me. When it came time to push this back into the shop, I thought I'd have a little fun with it. I got my son-in-law to help me. He's doing a great job of pushing until it went downhill. And one thing my wife pointed out to me, you notice when I fall here, my son-in-law's reaction is laughter, not, "Oh, are you okay?" I'm gonna have to talk to him about that. I got my oil pan all cleaned up, gasket surface is ready to go. Got my new gasket here and these little rubber pieces. Well, there's the original one covered in cat hair and stuff, and yep, I'm gonna have to trim those up a little bit. All right, trimmed these guys up so they should stick out just a little bit. There we go, that's much better. So I went ahead and cleaned off the gasket surfaces with some brake clean. And on the instructions, my two references for these oil pans, it does say to use some RTV. And this oil pan, it does have kind of some deep grooves in it. So I'm gonna go ahead, I think I have enough RTV blue here. You can use blue, black, or gray for oil pans. Hopefully I have enough here, because if I got this halfway and ran out, that would stink. Okay. I'm back. I ran to the store and I got some backup black RTV because I'm just not confident that this blue RTV is going to be enough. I think I'm going to get 75% of the way there and then wish I had a little bit more. And that's one lesson I've learned in life is stop what you're doing, take 15 minutes, run to the store, just so you have it. Because if I had this blue RTV on here curing and I ran a little bit low, then it just turns into a big disaster. So life lessons. Boy, I used exactly 100% of what was left in this little blue RTV bottle. I'm gonna smear this around a little more evenly, but man, we barely made it. I mean, I skimped a little bit maybe, but no, I think it'll be good. And maybe I'm like most people, and I normally overdo it on the RTV a little bit, but hey, I'm human. Let's get this bolted up real quick. Okie dokie, got that in place. Now, where is that skid plate? Oh, there it is. On the front side of the oil pan, there's this little skid plate. See how it has these washers on the back side? Those are spacers. So this just goes on the front end of the oil pan here. Let me see if I can show you real quick. Just goes on the front side of the oil pan here, like so. We'll bolt that down as well. And those little washers, those little spacers go between this plate and the oil pan. All right, got those snugged down a little bit. I haven't torqued them yet. I like to let the RTV cure for like an hour because I don't want to squish it out too much where it just gets too thin. So I let it cure for like an hour and kind of harden up just a little bit. Then I'll go back and torque everything down. All right, it is another day. We're back at it. Oil pan went great and I got my new fuel pump in. So let's do this next. The new fuel pump, and like I mentioned earlier, or in one of my last videos, single action instead of dual action, so it doesn't have the vacuum pump on the bottom, which is fine. Comes with a few new gaskets and some instructions. I'm gonna read over those instructions real quick just to make sure I'm not missing something. I do know I gotta get the spacer that goes back behind here as well. Yeah, it basically says don't do anything dumb, use the spacer, use the gaskets, make sure that you get your lever on the camshaft properly. Just, yeah, kind of straightforward. So gasket surface is clean. Got my 2 new gaskets here. Where is the little spacer? Aha! Here it is. Dropped it. So we're gonna go gasket. Oh, come on. Be easier to do it on the fuel pump itself. So we'll go gasket and then spacer and then gasket and bolts to hold it in place. Just like so, and we'll make sure the little arm of the fuel pump goes on top of the camshaft there, and we'll get this bolt started. And of course, one of the timing cover bolts is in the way of me getting the fuel pump, the second fuel pump bolt in, so gotta take that out. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And actually, I could have,
Are we able to turn the umbrella, or is it stationary?
It's stationary. You have to turn the whole base.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I may have been able to get like an angled wrench on this to get it in place, but I don't know, I just thought it'd be easier to take out that one bolt on the cover just to make this easier. Okay, we got that torqued to factory specs, so let's move on to some fuel lines and the oil cooler line, or it's not an oil cooler line, it's an oil line. And then we got thermostat to do. I knew I had a new set of cotter pins around here. I'm gonna need some of these little guys because we are gonna put on this control for the throttle right here. And there's some little itty bitty cotter pins that, yeah, those are a little sketch, can't reuse those. You know, there's a whole discussion on cotter pins. How do you bend your cotter pins? I bend, you know, one direction, the other direction. Some people only bend one. This one, these are so long, I'm gonna have to end up cutting this off. But yeah, what do you guys do? And then this one down here, I've got my pictures I've taken from, you know, I refer back to this. It's one of my tips. I know I've told you guys that in the past. Take pictures of things as I go along before I disassemble something, just so I can make sure I get it all back the same way. And it has been a lifesaver numerous times. And that cotter pin is too big. Ah, focus. And then this spring hooks down on this little plug down here. Although I'm not thrilled with how that's going to hook either. So we'll just modify this a little bit. There we go. That almost rubs on the head there. Let's look back here. That's exactly how that was. I don't think there was another washer behind it. Yeah, I might just have to pull this out. I'm just going to bend this out a little bit, I think, because I just don't want it rubbing on the, I guess that's the block right there. Yeah, maybe I got it bent a little bit just from storage. So we'll do another little modification here. There we go. And do you guys remember when I totally destroyed this fitting? Well, we got a brand new one. Looky there. And look who stopped by.
Hello.
Sasha.
Hi.
It's been a while.
I know.
I think some people remember you.
Yeah.
She stopped by to wash her car. But I love it when my daughters stop by. It's so cool.
Quick drive by, but fun.
I'm gonna put that in.
No.
So yeah, Sasha is off and married. She's been married for a while now, but still super special when they pop by for a minute. So fortunate to have them living close by. But yeah, pause what I was doing here for a little bit just to help her wash her car real quick because that's why she stopped by. But hey, if she wants to stop by and wash her car, I will help her. But yeah, that's the stage of life that my wife and I are at. Or we're not quite empty nesters, but we're getting pretty darn close. And this line we're working on here carries oil between the head and the block here. It's just an oiling line. Now this line is a fuel line. We are going to go from the fuel pump. Wait, how's this going to go? It's going to go, yeah. All right, so it goes from the fuel pump under the water pump to the carb up here. So I'm going to start up here at the carb, get this seated, and then around underneath. I'm going to have to kind of reroute this tubing a little bit because this is the inside of the fuel pump. So that's the outside, and out goes to the carburetor. And this is going to actually work out better than I was thinking. So I got it secured to the carb there pretty good. Going down kind of the same route it was before under the water pump. Now down here where it goes to the fuel pump, I just got to flip that 90-degree elbow around to the other side. You know what I just remembered? The reason this elbow is on this fuel line and not attached to the old fuel pump is because I could not get this junction broken loose. So I hope I don't wreck this line trying to spin this. So I'm going to take this line back off so I can put it in a vise and try to spin that elbow. Wish me luck. I think I heated this up and everything last time. Like, I don't know. We'll see. Alrighty, whew, we got lucky. I think I was just a little nervous about it because, you know, I broke one of these brass fittings already. But putting it in the vise, taking it off, putting it in the vise was the right call because now I got it broken loose, so we're good to go. All right, I got this all routed how I wanted, except the way this elbow sits in this fuel pump, I'm not super happy with how this is gonna seal. So I am actually going to use some thread locker sealant 59214, and I just looked it up to double check that it is fuel safe. It is thread locker designed for fuel systems as well. So I'm going to put a little bit of that fuel thread sealant on here, and that'll make me feel a little more comfortable. Let's move on to the thermostat here. And those of you that are really paying attention, you might notice I got a different shirt on. I haven't got a haircut because it's a different day. Sometimes I just come out here and work on this as I have a chance, and I got a few minutes here, maybe 20 minutes, half hour or something, so we're gonna get this thermostat done real quick. Got the surface all cleaned off real good with some brake clean there, scraped it off. Thermostat's gonna sit on there like that. I got the gasket and the housing. Gonna get some RTV, high temperature RTV on both sides of the gasket. Like I said, I'm kind of on a time limit because I got a lot of other projects going on and stuff. I'm actually painting my house right now too, which is a massive project in itself, but good Lord, house painting prices are so expensive that comes down to it. A project like that I'm going to do myself, save myself thousands of dollars. I'm pretty happy with that. We'll put the housing on here. Bolt this up. I'm going to, like I typically do, just kind of snug this down a little bit and then come back later to torque it down. Don't want to squeeze all that RTV out before it's ready. That looks pretty dang good to me. And I'm gonna call that a day, wrap up this video, because I really want to get this one up so you guys can see the progress that I've made so far. I think the next video, episode 20, that'll be a great mark to try starting this. Gotta put coolant in it, oil in it, a little bit of wiring, spark plugs, but we're almost ready to go. So the next video, that's my plan. We're gonna attempt starting this. We'll see how that goes. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good day.